Hey, how's it going?
Good, yourself?
Pretty good, my man. Have we done a coaching session before in the past?
No, but I've been asking you on Twitter for like 2 years now.
Okay, all right. Well, better late than never, I guess.
Yes, sir. I'm
Okay.
just gonna mute the stream,
Oh yeah,
but
yeah.
yeah.
Okay. So yeah, this is gonna be a coaching session that'll probably go about an hour. We're just gonna start by taking a look at your op.gg. Do you want to look at the stream, or do you want me to like share
Yeah,
my screen to Discord, or how do you want to look at it?
I'll just look at the stream.
Okay, yeah, it's like a couple seconds delay. But
Yeah,
we will be just kind of starting by looking at your op.gg. We'll go over runes builds, and then we'll watch a game together. Kind of figure out things from there.
yeah, sounds good.
So first things first. What is your goal rank that you're trying to get to this year? I see that you're at silver right now. You said that you were
Yeah,
gold
I
a couple
was.
times.
Yeah, I was gold like 2 or 1 in the last 3 seasons, so I'd like to get the plat, but a couple of my main duos, I was gold 2 like 3 weeks ago. A couple of my main duos are like plat 3, plat 2.
Okay. Um, okay. And then as far as champion pools go, I would recommend having like a champion pool of like two or three. You have two of
Yeah,
those down already.
yeah. Leo and Brand are pretty much my main two, and then I like to flex like Zara or Blitz or something like that here and there.
Okay, yeah, that's good. So let's go ahead and look here. Silver and up. I think Brand is actually pretty good. I think Leona's probably pretty good as well.
Yeah.
Let's refresh this. Let's see. Leona's at 51% and Brand is at 53. So you're playing good champions, which means
Hmm.
your win rates being low means that there's something else going wrong here. So when it
Yeah.
comes to Brand, Brand is a really good champion for lower ranks. He has a really good win rate. You kind of see that the higher rank you go, the lower he gets. So
Yeah,
Brand
for
here
sure.
is going to be 53. But then if you go to Diamond, Brand goes down to 49. So it's something
Hmm.
that's not going to work forever, but it's definitely going to work for now. But one of the biggest problems
Yeah.
with Brand, he does a lot of damage. He's good at carrying games, but
He's
he
so
has a lot of,
immobile.
yeah, very mobile, and he dies a lot. And I already see that you have a 1.69 KDA and you're averaging 7 deaths. So we're going to try to figure out that's going to
Yeah.
be one of the main things we're looking at is what's going wrong there. As
Hmm.
for Leona, the problem with engage supports in low ranks is people just struggle to
Yeah.
follow up on engage. That's one thing, but the other thing is sometimes you may be engaging when you think it's a good time and it's not necessarily. So
Yeah.
I think we'll look at a brand game today, but that's something to keep in mind when it comes to playing Leona. Just
Sounds
looking at a
good.
couple builds here. I always recommend these are the two websites I use, LOL Lytics and U.GG. So
Yeah.
I use this all the time when I'm streaming. Every time I go into a game.
Yeah. I use U.GG a lot, and also have face check enabled for like in game.
Hmm. Okay,
So
so let's go ahead and check out some of this. Um,
yeah,
that
that
looks
game. I don't
pretty
want to
good.
talk about that game.
Yeah, we're just kind of looking at the runes more than anything, though.
Mhm.
So it recommends eyeball collection. You're using, or excuse me, it recommends zombie ward. You're using eyeball collection. I would actually stick to eyeball collection. Zombie ward is something that is a lot more important in higher ranks because it revolves around like roaming around the map and vision control, which isn't
Yeah.
something that you're gonna do too much in lower ranks. And then the same goes for here with relentless hunter, more movement speed. So roaming around the map, you don't necessarily need that. So
Hmm.
relentless hunter is fine here. As for the secondary, there's four viable options. There's mana flow, absolute focus, transcendence, and scorch. I believe that it
Yeah.
recommends Transcendence and Scorch. Actually, it's saying Celerity and Water Walking, which is really strange to me. Let's see. If you go to Diamond, it goes Mana Flow, Scorch. See, I don't think there's necessarily a wrong answer here.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of people that say Scorch is not as good as people think it is, but I still like Scorch. If you want to go
Hmm.
for like the most damage possible, I would say Absolute Focus and Scorch. A good mixture of the two, Mana Flow and Scorch. Transcendence is going to give you like more CDR, of course, if you're looking for late
Yeah.
game. So those are all viable options. After the build, these days it's pretty much always Leandries into Zonias, which kind of sucks because I miss going
Yeah.
Rylai's. That is gonna be your core build here. So like here you win a like Demonic Embrace. I don't really see too many people buying this. I mean, it does have a fourth option here. I'm not a huge fan of it on brand personally, so I would be going Leandries into Zonias, especially like let's see this game. You're up against a Kennen, so I mean, you always have to think about what you're going to be using Zonias for. It's kind of weird because it's an armor item, but sometimes it's
Yeah.
good against AP champions like a Fizz ulti or Kennen ulti, something like that, right? So
Yeah.
having that this game would have been super helpful for sure. But yeah, I think that's gonna wrap up the OP.GG section. Kind of just looking at champions you're playing, builds, runes, etc.
Yep.
And then, so let's go through your match history and find a good game that we want to review. Um, so the 17, 6, and 7 brand game could work. I know you probably want to look at that one because
Probably
it's gonna
not very
make
useful though,
yeah.
because like
It's gonna
it's
make you
hard
look
stop.
good, but yeah, hard
But
stop.
no, I know.
What about a 4, 7, 13? That looks good.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay, let's do this one. And then, as you might have already noticed during these sessions, I tend to talk a lot, but the benefit of a one-on-one session is being able to ask questions. So feel free to
Yeah,
do that.
sounds good, man.
Okay, so let's see. You are playing Bram Kaisa into Blitzcrank Ash. This is going to be, it should be a pretty difficult lane for you for a couple
Yeah.
reasons. One, Kaisa kind of is a scaling champion. She has pretty low base range. She doesn't
And
synergize super well with Brand because you want to
yeah,
poke
she
and
needs like
potentially...
Nautilus or Leo or something.
Yeah, exactly. And then you're immobile, so you're up against a Blitzcrank. That's going to be tough. Ash, of course, has a lot of poke. As far as the level 1, a lot of people, for some reason, in lower ranks always use wards early. And I
Yeah.
think that the wards are not going to be too effective. So I would just recommend saving your wards for like the 2:45 or the 3-minute mark and just being ready for that first gank.
Yeah, for sure.
I understand here you guys are like doing a little bit of a stack, so maybe you want to see people coming here. But honestly,
Yeah, I was
like,
just thinking for Blitz, yeah.
yeah. Honestly, though, like, you would have plenty of time to react if they're here.
Yeah,
If
true.
you're not doing a stack, I still recommend sitting here. You see me do that in most games. Like the
Yeah.
standard 5-point start, top laner goes here, jungler goes here, mid laner goes here, support goes here, ADC goes here, and that's just to cover every single angle so you can see where they're coming from. This is not This is not what you want to be doing at the start of the game.
Yeah.
I mean, I gotta respect it, but you guys are really in the dark here, so try to be proactive early game, especially in Champion Select. That's not something we can necessarily look at during a coaching session. But the game starts as soon as you get into Champion Select. There's a lot of things you can do as far as matching up with the team comp and counter picking and just working with your team.
I think the only reason why I went Brand was because we had like no AP.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're kind of two tricking Brand Leona, so that works pretty well. Just to figure out which one you need more. As far as this game goes, yeah, I would have went Brand because your team needs AP, but Leona's also good here. And then this is another thing. This is very simple. I'm going to nitpick as many things as I can here. But just always remember, mixing in abilities and auto attacks is always going to be your best damage output. So this is just like something good to keep in mind as far as getting as much damage as possible off on any champion. Autos, after every single ability, is typically going to be best, especially when you're like leashing. So like start this off with an auto W auto,
Yeah.
And that could make the difference from somebody living with 18 health or something like that.
Yeah, something stupid like that. Yeah.
All right, so now we're gonna go to lane here. You guys are a little late to this. So when I see you get to lane, you are late, so you're probably not gonna get the level 2 power spike, but you want to try to prevent them from getting the level 2 power spike significantly ahead of you. You want to try to make it so that it's semi-close. So I would expect you to use W on the minions here, try to auto the wave a bunch, and try to even this out a little bit, because they already have a decent push on you here.
Yeah, it's usually what I try to do, especially against like relic champs. Like try to get that level 2 going with the W.
Also, this is something I want to point out really early on. I mean, we've only been in lane for 5 seconds, but I'll see if this is a continuing problem. You and your ADC need to kind of work together to figure out where you guys want to stand. And so usually you guys are standing side by side, never like this. And that's just to you want to try to create triangles with the enemy team. So for example, like let's say the enemy Blitzcrank's right here, you want to have a triangle where you can both hit the Blitzcrank at the same time. Whereas if you're in a straight line, Kaisa could potentially hit the Blitzcrank, but you can't. So watch out for that as well. Just make sure that you guys are in a straight line. I understand you guys are playing a little back because you're afraid of the Blitzcrank potentially. That's okay. Need you to so here we're playing too far back, especially because we need to auto this wave. Right now you guys are down 3 minions. So now we're gonna maybe start autoing. Still not autoing. Now Low Pally told me this a long time ago, like years ago when he was coaching me. And sometimes I take this, too seriously. But he said if you're not doing anything in the bot lane as a support, the least you could be doing is autoing the wave. So I always think about that every time I catch myself kind of not doing anything. Just keep autoing the wave.
Yeah, try to push for that level 2.
Yeah. So you guys are going to get semi-close to this. They're actually not doing a phenomenal job of pushing the wave. So they hit level 2, but you get it right after. That's good. So Brand's power spikes, most champions have a power spike at 2. He has one at 2 and 3. And that's just because once you're level 3, you have 3 abilities, and that's the only way you can, proc your passive, right?
Passive, yeah.
So this is good. He misses hooks. Now we're walking up. We're playing aggressive. This is all good things. Now, I probably would have ignited here because I don't think we're going for a full kill, but he's also...
Yeah, I think I did.
Flash. Yeah, so here, honestly, the way I look at it, I don't think this is a kill threat here. Because at this moment, sure, you've landed the stun, but you're also out of abilities, right? And Kai'Sa's not in a great spot to follow up.
Yeah.
So what's happening here is you guys are actually going to full commit here, and Ashe has the ability to just free hit on you guys. So I think it actually works out okay, because Ashe is low-key trolling by just running away and not autoing.
Yeah.
But that's what my thought process is there. That's pretty good, though. Good poke, good poke. So now we have control of the lane. So now what we're looking to do is keep up the pressure, because now they're really low, and we're looking to now poke. So we don't have to just focus on autoing the wave and playing safe. Now we can start to look to play aggressive. One of the things that you could do as Brand that's really helpful is looking to W both the ADC and the backline minions, and then you can E the minions after that, which is something you probably know. I'm expecting to see because you do play a lot of Brand. Trundle's top, 250. The 245 to 3 minute range is when you're going to see most of the first ganks. And especially now that Blitzcrank has no Q, we're just continuing to look to play up. So you can even play even further up here. I would say at this point, you guys have a huge lead in this lane, and you guys can start to zone them away from minions. So what I want you to do, especially, see, look at this right here. Let's go back and watch this slower, actually. So one of the easiest things you can do, and I still am able to do this at higher ranks, is try to time your poke when the enemy ADC is last hitting a minion.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I try to do that as much as I can, but sometimes I troll.
Yeah. Sometimes you just get ahead of yourself, especially right here. I would say if you have this much mana as Brand, you're probably not using your abilities enough on any mage. Yeah. So I want to see you try to play closer to Ashe's auto attack range. So she's gonna have to be right around here in order to last hit these minions. So I want you right behind these melees so that you can hit her back. Yeah. Yeah. So we get a little ahead of ourselves here. This minion here is the furthest minion that she's gonna have to walk all the way up for, right? So this is a good opportunity to hit her. Yeah. And again, just playing it I know it's very little, but just playing a step behind your ADC too much, I would say. Okay, so cooldown on the hook. Now we're walking up. Emo, perfect. Still have eyes on... No, we don't have eyes on anybody. So Trundle's missing at the moment. Let me go back and watch this combo real quick. Okay, so cooldown. We like that. We're walking up. Now here I think is actually too much. I understand that you're looking for poke here and that they're on cooldown. But what I would do is just kind of wait here and zone them.
Zone them, yeah, from XP and stuff.
Yeah, because this is almost too far. You are kind of fortunate to land the full combo here, but let's say you miss something. Now you're stuck in the minion wave, and then Ashe is going to be autoing you. Instead, I would just play back a little bit. Yeah. So sometimes, you might notice, I'll critique something even though it has a good upside, even though something good comes of it, just because it's not necessarily going to be the case all the times.
Yeah, it might not be the optimal play at all times, for sure.
Yeah, so again, getting a little ahead of ourselves. We have a good position here where they can't really walk up to the wave, and if they do, then you can land free poke. So just be a little bit more patient as well. Yeah. Don't have any wards down yet either. So anytime a wave crashes like this is a good time to go ward, because what's going to happen is, let's say Trundle's walking down to the tri-bush right now. It'll be super obvious if they leave their wave to go contest this. So anytime they're contesting, yeah, exactly. So anytime you push it in, you go to the tri-bush. They have to choose between contesting tri-bush vision or the wave. And usually, if they're gonna ditch the wave, that means because their juggler's here. That's a dead giveaway. So we're in the dark right now. And then again, that had a good upside, but I would typically try to use that on the back wave. We're also a little low on mana now, so we gotta watch out for that. Still in the dark with the vision. But we can also tell, look how far back they're playing, right? So 2 things. One, they're playing this far back, so if their jungler ever were to show up, it should be a dead giveaway because they'll walk up randomly for the first time.
Yeah.
But
Then he'll
also,
just W and run at me.
especially if you're playing on lock screen, your screen probably looks something like this right now, right? You can't even see. Are you not playing on the lock screen?
No.
Okay. But still, you're playing really too far away from these guys. I think you need to continuously stand like up here, match your ADC, and also because right now, Ashe is able to free hit because you're back here. She knows she's not gonna get punished at all.
That's true.
But again, like I've been saying for the past minute or so, we're playing in the dark here. So now here comes the gank finally. We'll see how this plays out. We're low on mana. Few misses, but I can't critique that. That just happens.
Yeah.
I will say though, we're just a little low on mana because we're not being patient enough with our abilities. So that's not bad though, because you guys do have a little bit of a CS lead, right? You did get a flash earlier, but now you guys are a little bit behind, which is a little unfortunate. And they're not pushing the wave, which is good for you. Let's see. So coming out of base, I don't really see an opportunity to roam mid. This is way too push, and as Brand, you're probably not going to be roaming all that much anyways. So what do we pick up here? Let's go back a little bit more. You have 600 gold. This, to me, I would have got boots and a dark seal here if I'm you. I think rushing boots is really good in general as supports.
Yeah.
Once you get around the map quicker. But especially as Brand, we pointed out earlier that you have a problem just dying too much as Brand. The faster you get boots, the easier it is for you to dodge skill shots, right?
Yeah.
And then anytime you're playing Brand or any AP support, it's always a good excuse to grab a Dark Seal. Especially this early on, nothing bad can happen of it. If you end up popping off, then you're going to benefit from it a lot, right?
What's your opinion on going rushing sword shoes if I get like an early kill on my first back or got 1100?
Yeah, I think early boots are always good. And not necessarily just tier 1, but upgrading them all the way is good.
Okay.
Okay, so here you kind of get there at the end of the fight, but don't really get an assist or anything, and you just gank before you got there. So what is your thought process here, right after you get this kill? What do you think you should be doing?
I think, well, Nunu's dead, so she wasn't that Drake, but I would say probably shove. I don't know.
Yeah, for sure. Anytime you kill the ADC, you typically just want to shove. There we go. Perfect.
Deny CS, yeah.
Exactly. Now, Blitzcrank starts to walk up, though. We do have to be careful. He's playing really far back, so I don't think you have anything to worry about. And then your ADC is recalling. This is a really awkward spot whenever you're playing support, because, like, your jungler's here, your mid laner's here, and your ADC's here. So there's nothing really for you to do. Honestly, I might just recall here and, I don't know, grab another control ward or something. There's really nothing for you to do, and what we're going to see, like, you're getting vision right now, but this doesn't really benefit you because, well, first of all, Trundle could show up right now, but also you're not getting vision to prevent a gank because they're not ganking right now because nobody's showing bot lane, right? So we're just going to kind of walk around for a little bit, not get a whole lot accomplished. So I probably would have just recalled there. And now you're going to find yourself in trouble, right?
Probably, yeah.
So yeah, it's a really awkward thing whenever you're playing support and there's really nothing for you to do on the map. You can't get vision. Your mid laner wasn't around. Your jungler wasn't around. Your ADC was recalling. And I understand that it seems pointless to recall there, especially if there's nothing really you could buy. But it would have benefited you, as we saw, right? You didn't get anything out of
with
it.
The control ward, yeah.
Okay, we're sticking around. I think this is a good call. I think you guys can definitely contest this. Nunu's got a nice little wraparound. We're going to let this play out, and then we're going to go back and watch it. Okay, so this is what I'm thinking. The standard Brand combo, as you've done multiple times this game, is EQW. But right here, I think this is like a really, really good opportunity. Like, especially because they're all bundled up like this.
Like WE or EW.
WQE, something like that, right? And that allows you to get your damage off quicker. They're also bundled up, so maybe by the time you get your W later, they're not as bundled up. This is just like a prime example, and I think that a lot of people learn that first combo of Brand of EQW, but there's a lot of different ways you can use his abilities. And anytime you see people bundled up like this, prime example to use R or W. Of course, you don't have your ultimate yet. But also, especially since they're all focused here on Nunu trying to kill him, or maybe even the dragon, you have to think people probably aren't looking at you as much. so you can get away with using WQ. You know, a combo that
Yeah.
still results in a stun, but it's a little bit harder to land. Something you definitely need to keep in mind when it comes to playing skill shot champions in general, in big team fights, is sometimes you can get away with things that may be easy to dodge, but they're just not looking at you. They might be a little
Yeah,
distracted.
they're not focusing me at all. Yeah.
So we're just now getting our damage off, and trust me, this is beautiful. This is a lot of damage. But look how close you get to the fight, and look how much damage your Nunu has taken before you actually get your damage off, right?
Yeah.
So this does work, and I think Nunu lives even, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it works out perfectly. Again, I'm just nitpicking things here.
Yeah, which I appreciate. Like anything you want to nitpick, get it.
Alright, so we're going to get a recall off. Here we have 1,000 gold. So what do we decide to buy? Again, we're really postponing our boots here. So we're walking super slow to lane, and we're going to be even slower when it comes to dodging.
I don't know what I was
hooks.
doing. Like usually I rush boots ASAP, so
yeah, you want tier 1 boots as soon as possible on pretty much any support champion. Here again, if you're playing any other support, maybe a roam timer, maybe you could just like creep up mid, and as Veigar shows up, maybe do something. But you're playing Brand. I mean, this is fine.
yeah, as Leo, I typically would go for that pixel brush and try to get something off.
Okay. Another thing that I really like to do is, especially if you get to lane early before your ADC, try to sneak into one of these bushes. A lot of people will just not ever see it coming, and then that's a really, really easy, guaranteed way as soon as Ashe walks up to land an EQW combo. Makes things really, really simple on you, right? So let's say you're in this bush right now. I don't know, maybe something cool would have happened because of it. Let's see. So they're actually pushing towards you right now. This is a situation where you have to figure out, do you want to start playing aggro and trying to get plates, or do you want to try to freeze and keep them out of the game? Either option works, honestly. If you can get your jungler to revisit bot lane, then pushing is definitely better. And that's also something that's kind of out of your control, because ADC, as you see, is pushing here. Hook misses, so now we can kind of pressure. That's all good. I think we saw Trundle top a second ago. Yeah, Trundle's still top, so you don't need to ward right now. Fine. So another thing here, maybe you're doing this just because you're trying to push in the wave, but like let's say you use the W and it misses, instead of using E right away because it's going to burn for a little bit longer, you can wait, and then the ADC, if they walk up at any point in time to last hit a minion, then you can use
you get that proc,
yeah, and still get it off. So even if the W misses, you can still be a little patient.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it just seems like we're always like a little step behind. Like I would like you and Kaisa both to be like right here already, so you can start auto attacking this.
Yeah.
Very small things, but now we're getting our auto off. Kaisa's backing up a little bit. I don't think this is necessary because we knew where Trundle was a second ago. I'd probably get your first ward down, and I'd probably get it down now in case you recalled and went straight bot. That's always possible. So here, you're in the... Yeah, so exactly this is what I was about to say. You guys are in the dark here, so a hook could have easily connected here. Instead, I know this isn't what you're doing. This is what Kaisa did. But you guys want to shove in this wave first and then contest the tri-push ward.
Yeah.
So I got a little lucky there. Alright, let's get focused back on you. I'm loving the emotes, though. Love the confidence.
Gotta get in their heads, man.
You made 436. Yes, you're actually... So, this is what I will say. I think you're not poking enough right now, especially like I said earlier. If you're this full man on brand, you're probably not poking enough. The other thing is you're in a winning bot lane, right? You guys are actually winning this lane. So I would like to see that you have more gold from your support item than Blitzcrank does. So the fact that he's playing passive and has 480, but you don't, is not the best. So that also
that's pretty sad. Yeah.
Another thing I will say is a lot of the time I've noticed you're kind of playing with them on the outside here, and you're dodging these hooks and emoting in their face, which is nice and all. But if one of those hooks lands, it could be trouble. So make sure if you are looking for this poke, especially against a Blitzcrank, playing behind your minions is really, really important. So keep that in mind as well. Okay, so we're recalling here. Okay. Okay, I like this. Maybe look at mid because there were some people here a second ago. Perfect path. I like to see this a lot. Nothing going on. Go straight bot. Beautiful. Another thing, though, is like I was saying, you guys are in a winning bot lane, but you guys have only taken one plate so far, so I would like to see you guys be taking more plates. This is good. Pushing in the wave and then contesting this. Unfortunately, your ADC is not following up. And because of that, you might just have to let it go, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Oh, good poke. Very nice. Okay, nice job. Their ADC didn't follow up either. Nice combo. But yeah, that's what I was talking about right there, is being able to use that WQ combo from afar. You know, don't always rely on EQ. That was good. Very good job. Alright, another dragon fight coming up. Pulling it out. Another thing that I would say is you can actually use Q and then E after you use Q. Do you know about that to land a stun?
Yeah.
So it's very difficult to do because you have to like time it properly. But what I always like to do whenever I was trying to learn this combo is practice it anytime you're on a dragon. So like, you know how like when you're doing a dragon, you kind of just use all your abilities in a random order. Anyways, yeah. So during that time, try to practice using Q and then E while the Q is in midair, and then seeing if you get the stun. I'd also say, like, this worked out fine because you were just, like, bursting down the dragon. But if you think that there might be a fight coming, try not to use all of your abilities at once, because then you'll be on cooldowns for the start of the fight. So here, we're kind of just waiting for cooldowns, right? So that would have been a good opportunity for a stun. Might have just misclicked or something there, though. So yeah, this fight didn't go the best. Maybe it goes a little bit better if at the very start we have all our abilities. Because you're on cooldowns. But this is like 2 or 3 seconds where you can't really do a whole lot. And then here, W and then Q would have been better to land a stun on Blitzcrank potentially. So that's another thing to keep in mind, is just around objectives, making sure your abilities are up. And so what you can do to prevent that is right here at the start of the dragon, you kind of just like throw them all at once. Kind of layer them a little bit. So like use your Q, wait a second. Okay, is anybody coming? Okay, not yet. Use your W, wait a second. Okay, is anybody coming? Then use your E. And that way when the fight starts, maybe you don't have all your abilities up, but you'll have some of them up. Because
yeah, I can still poke them down a bit, yeah.
And then after that fight, I might have just recalled. Let's see how much gold you have. 600? Maybe. Maybe doable. Okay, getting a little ahead of ourselves here. I might trade this 1 for 1. Okay,
it's pretty
so
dumb.
I mean, it's okay. You had the right idea once you got hooked of landing the full combo and trading 1 for 1. But yeah, just looking for a little bit too much here. A little bit too much. Patience is always going to be key in this game, you know?
Yeah.
I will say, if you could have flashed over this wall...
That's what I was going to do, but I misclicked. That's what I was trying to do.
Like from here to here, might have worked. Yeah. That's kind of hard, though, especially in the middle of a fight here. From right here, yeah, maybe could have done it. Like, this little crevice right here is like a really easy spot to stand if you stand there. You can go right over. But from there, I don't know. Would have been close. Would have been close. Good turnaround, though. Good recovery. Okay, so we went Banshees. I think that Leandri's is just simply too good. Are you building Banshees here because of the Blitzcrank?
Yeah, honestly.
Yeah, I think instead just try to focus on rushing boots and work on dodging skill shots. That's really what it is. I think you're hurting yourself too much by going Banshees. Instead of just going with your core build. Like, Leandri's has been a staple piece for Brand for I don't even know how long.
Forever, yeah.
So,
yeah, I was kind of just trying something new here because they had a bunch of AP, and I knew it was kind of troll, but...
Yeah, it's okay. I like the thought process. Maybe later in the game, potentially, if you get that far. I like this again. Good pathing here. Throw it down. But maybe look mid here for sure, actually. I would even start pinging it now. Like, once you're here and you have the idea that you're going mid, I would start pinging it then, so maybe your team can prepare for it.
Yeah.
Alright, that's not bad. So I like the idea here. Again, you play a lot of Brands, so a lot of the things I'm saying you might already know about. Using RQ is pretty much the same as using EQ, except you can use it from a longer distance, and it's a lot more like all-in focused. So I like that a lot here. If you think a fight is breaking out, RQ, Q miss, that's okay, happens, you know. Pretty good though. Okay, pinging the Rift Herald, I like that. I might even just go do the Rift Herald right now with your teammate.
Yeah, I usually would.
Oh, the Banshee's perfect. Look at that.
Yeah.
Worked out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I might have just went and done this with your teammate. Maybe like given it a full combo and then started your recall. Something like that. Just because I don't think there's a whole lot to accomplish mid, and then by walking up here, you also can get. Okay. I don't think I need to comment on this, right? Actually, you know what? I will comment on this. Okay, so this is something I always like to talk about. It's talking about best case scenario versus the worst case scenario.
Worst case scenario. Best case scenario, I get him down to like a quarter, and I don't even kill him. Worst case, it's exactly what happened.
Exactly, yeah. So best case scenario, you proc Spell Thieves, you get him a little low, and you stop his recall, and maybe you ruin his day a little bit. Worst case scenario, this happens, right? So we just have to think about, is it really worth it kind of thing, you know?
No.
Yeah, it's the same thing that happened here earlier, right? Remember we when we got hooked over the wall? Best case scenario, you walk up, you probably land a W. I don't think you were in a position to land a full combo in that play down here. Worst case scenario, what happened? You know, you got pulled.
Yeah.
Just thinking about that. A lot of this isn't positioning issues, which is good because when it comes to brand, that's what most people struggle with, is being immobile and then not positioning well. So if you can position well, that's really good. A lot of these deaths are just like, you know, both your deaths actually are just from greed more than anything.
Yeah,
which is
pretty
really good.
well, yeah.
If you can eliminate the greed, you're going to be in a phenomenal spot.
Yeah.
Alright, so fight going on down here. Let's fast forward a little bit because you're not involved. Team's popping off. So with 2 kills here, I might actually walk up and try to get some vision. Yeah, for sure. Actually, we have eyes on 2 people top, 1 person mid, and you just killed 2 bot. So anytime you have an opportunity that you know you can get for sure easy, deep vision, what you want to do is get a ward here and a ward here. And this gives you so much information. This is something I didn't really do too much until the last Twitch Rivals, and Tarzan kind of taught me how to do this. And he showed me how like insanely broken it is to have wards in these 2 locations, especially if you get a control ward here. Yeah, a lot of vision, a lot of knowledge. You have complete vision of pretty much their entire bot side. Every camp that they're going to do, you're going to know that they're doing it. If they walk past these camps and they're going to Dragon, you're going to know about it. And then this bush right here, not a lot of people walk into it in general. Because if people are walking bot, they don't go through this bush. If people are going to red buff, they usually take a blast cone or something, right? People don't walk through this, so this is a really, really good spot for a control ward if you have one. So you do, so this would have been a great time to put regular ward there, control ward right there. And that just sets you up for a while. Let's see what we do instead. So we are getting vision. This is fine.
Blue team's turret has been destroyed.
This is another thing I'll say. So as I was saying at the very start of the game, as far as mixing in auto attacks in between abilities, you also want to try to get into a habit of moving in between every ability.
Yeah.
Or in between every auto attack. So maybe you're standing still because you're walking back this direction. But let's say, like, especially like leashing, I didn't really pay attention to your leash. You don't want to just like right click and stand there. Try to always practice like auto attack, move, auto attack, move, and that's gonna help your positioning in fights as well. So on this ward here, let's say you are walking this direction, like walking this direction after you take it. I would like to see auto attack, take a step this way, auto attack, take a step this way, auto attack, take a step that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a lot of little things that you can actually practice during the game, like you know, doing that during a leash, or the Q combo that I was talking about during Dragon. You know, there are opportunities that you'll have to practice things like that. This control ward I don't love because, like I was talking about earlier with this bush, not a lot of people walk into here, so it's a good spot for it. A lot of people walk into
that
this
one.
Yeah. This is like a prime spot for them to put their control word, so it's very likely that they'll put theirs here and spot it out and take it, you know?
Yep.
Okay, let's see. We're about halfway done with the coaching session, so we can kind of take our time still, but I do want to see some, team fighting, because that's where it's really going to matter. So here, I don't think this is a great spot for you to be. I mean, your team got caught. That's not on you necessarily. But with Dragon coming up, how do I check Dragon spawn? I don't know, less than a minute. We know that much, right?
Yeah.
I would have liked to have seen you last minute before dragon spawns. It's up in, okay, there we go. Somebody pinged it. 38 seconds. A minute before dragon spawns, you should be taking your recall, and you should be starting to prep dragon.
For rewards, yeah.
So that's what I would have liked to have seen. So instead, we're kind of just a little lost. We're not necessarily with our team here. Good pick here.
They were so dense.
Okay, so you guys got to pick when your Kai'Sa's going to be like the dragon.
Team's turret has been destroyed.
This is kind of a lower ranked game, though, so maybe people don't do it right away. That's also very possible. Now, this is very dangerous. You do have Banshees, right? But you are walking into very dark territory by yourself. I would honestly either give this because your team's not in position with Irelia here and Kai'Sa just not recalling, or if you were going to try to go in, let your Nunu lead. Another thing I'll say, this is a mistake I made very often until recently. When you're going to an objective, instead of checking with wards, check with abilities in these bushes, because you don't want to... These wards don't really accomplish a whole lot. You know, for example, let's say you're trying to get to Baron, right? And you're walking from here. If you place a ward here, is this going to help you during a Baron fight? No. If you place a ward here, is that going to help you during the Baron fight? No. And then you get to Baron, and guess what? You don't have any wards. So instead, check these bushes with your abilities and save your wards for the team fight. Because for this dragon, you're going to want a bush or a ward here, maybe here, maybe on the dragon pit. For Baron, you're going to want one in the pit. You might want it in the pixel brush, etc. Right? So saving your wards for when you actually get there. But as I mentioned, I don't think we even want to be here for this reason. One, but two, because our team's not really in a good position.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go back and watch this. So, again, like I said, I don't think we should be here in the first place. I think here you're actually in a decent spot, though. You could actually just fight this entire fight from the other side of the wall. That would have been really nice, especially since, you know, he doesn't have hook. You walk up right here. This would have been kind of nice to see.
Definitely would have been optimal.
Yeah, if you're right here, R, W, I mean, you do a ton of damage here. And maybe Irelia comes and cleans it up. But I always like the R to start. That's really smart. R, Q, and then honestly, I don't even think you need the W here because you're already in a really bad spot. So it's not really worth landing the W in the passive.
Yeah.
And then we walk up. That's just a misclick probably. And it looks like we do live here, which is good. We got a lot of damage off as well. This is another one of those situations where like we don't really need to walk up because best case scenario we land a Q. Worst case scenario Veigar kills us there. Luckily we survive. Again, there, need to work on auto and then mixing in your walking. But yeah, I think this would have been really interesting to see if you had played it on this side of the wall, what you would have been able to accomplish.
Definitely would have been better, yeah.
It's kind of hard to position like that as Brand because he's a kind of shorter range mage.
Yeah.
But like if you're playing someone like Lux or Zyra or Xerath even, like those fights on the other side of the wall can be really, really helpful. Alright, speeding up. No action for a little bit, it seems. Just need to be careful here because the map is very dark, so walking in there could get you in a lot of trouble. Try to walk in when you have vision of somebody, or if you have like your jungler with you or something. Let's go back and watch this real quick. I think this is another one of those opportunities where we're just so used to doing the EQW combo.
Yeah, that I don't try anything else.
We're getting really close here, putting us in kind of a dangerous position. Again, your Banshees is proving me wrong because it's been working well this game. But honestly, I don't think that's an all-in angle. Probably just like W, E, or whatever.
Yeah.
Getting a little too close. That EQW combo is something that is really good in the lane phase. You got to kind of teach yourself not to rely on so much late game.
Yeah.
Because your E is
such
your
a
shortest
short
range. Yeah,
range.
it's your shortest range ability for sure. Okay, looks like there's a big fight coming up, so let's go ahead and focus it on you. Okay, so how does this happen? I think mainly there's just not really a reason to be in the jungle here.
Yeah.
I don't think this accomplishes anything, and then leading is not really your job as well. So let's see. This is going to be your third death, and all 3 deaths weren't necessarily mispositioning. They were just bad decision making, which is good and bad. If you can fix the bad decision making, you'll be in a much better position.
Yep.
And your team still wins, so worth, right?
Yep.
This is where you all chat and say, "You got me. Congratulations." Okay, your team gets Baron here. This is also going to put you in a little bit of a weird situation because your team's going to take Baron. They're all going to want to recall, and you have nothing really to do. This is, again, what we were looking at earlier, right? Where you're kind of off tempo with your team. You're not going to accomplish a whole lot here. The map's very dark. This is a bad situation to be in. And you might be very fortunate to live here, or this is going to happen, right?
Yeah.
So again, you only had 500 gold. It feels kind of weird because you just came out of base, but in order to stay on tempo with your team, and
Yeah, I should have reset.
should just reset, exactly, yeah. So just decision making is it. You're literally 4 for 4. All your deaths have not been positioning; it's just been decision making, which again is good and bad. The problem that most brand players have is positioning, and you don't seem to have that problem. Alright, so now we're going to try to meet up with our team. Jax is probably just going to split push. I think you're mid here. I don't think this is necessarily where you need to be. So again, not positioning, this is decision making. When it comes to playing Brand, you want to team fight. That's all you want to do. You just want people to be bundled up, and you want to put out as much AoE damage as possible while staying as far back as possible and staying alive as long as possible, right? If you can get 2 combos off in a team fight as Brand, you'll just simply win the game. Now let's see. Your team has Baron, right? Jax is your top laner, so he's split pushing. You are a mage, which means you need to be team fighting with your team. This is like a 1-4 push. So if you're not familiar with these, you probably do. But there's like the common 5-man stack, the ARAM kind of strategy, right? There's the 1-3-1 where you have 1 person one lane, 1 person another lane, 3 people another lane. And then there is the 4-1, which is having 1 person split push and then 4 elsewhere. Also, someone in my chat just brought up a good point. Banshees might have also promoted the bad decision.
No, yeah, that's honestly why a lot of this stuff.
Yeah, so maybe
Just
you're
get cocky
feeling
'cause I have
comfortable walking over
Banshees.
here. Oh, hold on, my headset died. So I can't hear you at the moment. We'll go ahead and let this play. Yeah, here you're just walking up. There's not really a reason to be here. We just want to be with the team fighting. And this is another situation where a bad decision results in something good. So it's really important that we are taking the time to look at this stuff, because at the time maybe you would have thought like, oh, worth, like look what I was able to accomplish. We got 2 kills for 1. But in reality, you should be here, and then this is a clean fight for your team, and this goes a lot better as well. All right, let's fast forward again. Our build looks like we're going into Leandri's now. Grab that. That's fine. Looking at the map now, so it's an open inhib bot lane. As a team fighting champion, you just want to team fight, so you're looking to group either mid or top. That's pretty much it. Now this is, again, another dangerous decision. We're getting vision blindly. This is not worth it, and I don't think this is the time to get vision either. So just be careful for that. Especially as someone like Brand. We were talking earlier about how there's opportunities to roam, but you couldn't roam then, right? Because you're playing Brand, you're not playing a traditional support. Same thing here. Like, if you're playing someone like Rakan, you can maybe afford to walk up and contest this vision, and if you see someone coming, just W out. Or if you're playing Bard, you just portal out, right? As Brand, if you see someone and you react, even if you react in time, it still might be too late, right? So definitely got to keep that in mind. Best case scenario, you get a ward in this bush. Worst case scenario, you get yourself killed. So also just be patient when it comes to vision, and try to always have somebody in front of you if you can. If you don't have knowledge of where the enemy team is, then you need to, exactly. So we don't know where they are, right? And we don't have anybody with us, so now we're by ourselves again. You got your full combo off, which is good, but shouldn't have been there to begin with.
Yeah.
And you're also getting punished even harder this game because you're up against a Blitzcrank, and Blitzcrank is just going to make your life a living hell as Brand. But this could happen against any champion, really. The things that we're seeing. Luckily, your team still has a 10k gold lead. So it should be very easy to win still.
Yeah.
But we have really fallen off. We were very dominant early game. As you see, your ADC's killing it, right? Your ADC's 15-0, and you could be sharing all this love right here with Kaisa, but you've been dead too often.
Yeah, I've been inting, yeah.
Just a little bit, you know. You said it, not me. All right, again. So off tempo a little bit with our team, just because we're kind of dying at different times than them. Kind of dangerous to be getting vision by yourself here. Honestly, no need to be here, right? There's nothing for us bot lane. You just want to be with them mid. Let's see, we're recalling because we have 800 gold maybe, and I have an item or something. Okay, maybe not. Now we're grouped with our team. So our team actually came to us, which is good. Very risky combo that actually paid off. Good job. That was like a max range Q. Very good ulti here. Like, you have a very good sense of how to play Brand. And your combos are very good. And you're using your ulti at good times. It's just your decision making is the only thing, really.
Yeah.
And trying to stay with your team. Especially
Yeah,
if you're,
going by myself, yeah.
if your champion pool is Leona and Brand, you're just a team fighter. That's all you are. You play champions that either do a lot of AoE damage or have a lot of AoE CC, right? So just focus on playing around your team more. That means even sometimes like you're doing supporty things, right? You're going and getting vision for your team, but you're doing it by yourself. So just try to play with your team. Get vision with your team. Team fight with your team. Get objectives with your team. Do everything with your team. The champions that you play are team fighters. You know.
Yeah.
If you were a top laner that mained Jax, then that's something better to do. Right here, this might just look like tunnel vision to me. I think your team was walking this way.
Quite a bit.
And then your team goes the opposite direction. And I think after your first combo, you might just kind of be dead here. Yep.
Yeah.
That's just tunnel vision. That happens as well. Wouldn't say it's a
Do you find
recurring combo.
Do you find you ever tunnel vision?
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. Sometimes I see somebody in the corner of my eye and I just assume that they're my teammate and then they kill me, you know?
Yeah.
It happens. Happens for sure. Okay, looks like you guys are going to pick up quite a few more kills and then finish up this game. Again, just kind of, you know, not in the great spot. Dragon's coming up soon, so maybe that's what you're trying to focus on. But you also have two top. I think pushing mid, because also this is another thing. A lot of the time we're setting up vision and like running around the dragon area for a lot of time before. Now, what I want you to try to focus on, this isn't something that you can always do yourself because you're playing support. But you always want mid push before you do dragon.
Before drag, yeah.
And that's because minions act as moving wards. So if this wave pushes up to here, and then they come to clear this wave, you know where they are, right?
Yeah.
And then the other thing is they have to decide between the wave and then the dragon. And then there's also the factor of if you get dragon and you already have a pushing wave, then you can just go straight to your wave and start pushing on the tower, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of things come out of pushing mid. Now I understand this game's kind of turning into a stomp. Jax just got a triple kill. People are pushing top, but still, like, these basics can go a long way, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So now you guys got a couple kills, and now you're pushing this wave. But imagine you just killed Veigar, and you just walk up, and this wave's already here.
Yeah.
Would have been wonderful. Okay, let's see. Did I miss anything here? I just don't love the fact that we're always this far ahead of our team. I think it's going to work out this time. But the map is dark, right? So Blitzcrank just popped up. Imagine if there's 4 more people right here in this bush. You're dead.
Yeah.
Very lucky that it's just Blitzcrank this time around. Okay, we get Baron. I think there's going to be one more team fight, and then we probably end. Looking at your build, Leandries, Morello. It's all fine. Or not Morello, but the Oblivion Orb. I also think, especially this game, having this is the same problem here, right? Might result in a kill, but a very dangerous play. Especially this game though, with Jax, Irelia, and Nunu, you had a huge front line. You went 4-7-11. You're gonna get a win, but there was a lot more opportunities this game for you.
Yeah, for sure.
Same thing here. We're just like, we're not with our team. We're focusing on the wave. It's like it's almost like you're in this game, but like playing your own game. You're not necessarily
Yeah.
thinking the same as your team. This fight's going on. We're pushing the wave still. Now, again, this is going to work because you guys are like 15,
Mega
20,000
fed.
gold in front of them, right?
Yeah.
But in a close game, if you're focused on this wave and your team's doing this, it's going to go bad. And sometimes,
Yeah.
League of Legends is a team game, so even if there's a play that you don't necessarily agree with, but 4 of your teammates are committing,
You're doing it. Yeah.
you just have to commit. That's
Yeah.
the way that League of Legends works, right? Like if 4 of your teammates decide to do Baron, but then you're like, nah, I don't think Baron's a good play. I'm not going to go, and you don't go.
Yeah, then
That could be
you're pretty much just trolling. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. All right, I think I was just a little bit less than an hour, but just to kind of wrap up things here, kind of recap everything that we've talked about. First things first, so we were looking at your op.gg. Leona Brand, I think, is a solid champion pool. I would recommend adding one more in there. When it comes to Brand, most people just have the problem of not positioning properly. Yours, on the other hand, is just decision making. And it'd be really interesting to look at a Leona game and see how that differentiates, because decision making as a mage versus a tank are very different. And you could be engaging at the wrong time or trying to dive at the wrong time or something like that. Also, just
probably-
working. Oh, good.
I was gonna say I'd probably be down to do like another Leo session like sometime like next week or something. Like
Yeah, for sure. That'd be good. I think that would be really beneficial to kind of see the difference there.
Yeah.
But again, like recapping things, also just little things, trying to practice even when you're in game. So using your EQ combo, practicing that on Dragon, making sure that you're mixing in auto attacks with abilities and making sure that you're mixing in movements with your abilities. Focusing on that core build of Brand being Leandri's into Zhonya's, because Zhonya's is going to help with staying alive as well. Mainly, again, just the biggest issue is just decision making, not playing with the team, kind of playing your own game, getting vision by yourself, not moving with your team, especially if you have a frontliner who can walk, like this game, perfect example. If you have Nunu with you, who can walk in front of
Jax.
you, or even if you have vision on the enemy team. We also talked about the importance of having vision in like this bush here, control ward here, stuff like that. Yeah, I think that just about recaps most of the important things that we went over today. Do you have any more questions about anything that I can answer before we wrap this up?
Kind of hard to think. How was like overall my macro? Would you say?
I think
Like,
the
obviously
problem with
it's silver, but
yeah, I think you're actually focusing too much on macro, which is why like sometimes you're not playing the same game as your team. You know? Like you're like, oh, let's push this wave in, and your team's like, no, randomly fight here. Or you're like, oh, I need to get vision because Dragon is coming up, and your team's like, well, yeah, but we're just fighting over here. So it almost seems like you're worried too much about macro, which is kind of, it's a good thing and a bad thing, because once you get to a higher rank and your teammates start to play around that, it's going to make a big difference. But you have to work with your team, and you also have to focus on macro at the right times, right?
Yeah.
So keep that in mind. Oh, also, speaking of macro, one last thing I forgot to recap. When it comes to Dragon, making sure we're pushing in mid and then setting up vision and like a minute, and also recalling like a minute before, and not just like standing around Dragon, for example.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah. Okay. Any other questions you had off the top of your mind?
Not really. Appreciate it a lot, Trev.
Yeah, no problem, man. I'll probably see you in the stream again.
Yeah,
feel
for
free to
sure.
message me if you have any questions, or if you want to book another session or anything like that. All right.
All right.
All right,
Sounds good.
for sure,
Thank you.
man.
Take
Have a
care.
good one. Yeah.